Welcome to our video where we uncover the evolving dynamics in the South China Sea. As tensions rise between key players, a collaborative effort is emerging. Join us as we analyze how the Philippines, China, the United States, Australia, and Japan are navigating these challenging waters together. The South China Sea, a crucial waterway rich in resources, has been a center of geopolitical tensions. The Philippines finds itself in the midst of this complex web of disputes, primarily against China's expansive territorial claims. Amidst rising concerns, the international community is witnessing a unique alliance forming. The Philippines, backed by the United States, Australia, and Japan, is working towards safeguarding peace and stability in the region. Coordinated naval exercises and joint operations showcase the collective determination to ensure open seas and freedom of navigation. This collaborative approach sends a strong message to China that unilateral actions will not go unchallenged. The shared goal of preserving a rules-based international order drives these nations to forge deeper ties. The Quad alliance between the US, Australia, Japan, and India has also gained prominence, further shaping the regional dynamics. The US, Australia, Japan, and the Philippines carried out a joint exercise in the waters off Manila on Thursday involving the Australian and Japanese large-deck ships on deployment in the region. Meanwhile, Chinese bombers flew near Japan, while a Chinese unmanned air vehicle conducted a flight off Taiwan's east coast, according to Japan Ministry of Defense press releases. A Friday release by the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force stated that the helicopter carrier-destroyer JS Izumo and destroyer JS Samadare of the 1st Surface Unit of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force Indo-Pacific Deployment 2023 mission conducted tactical exercises in the vicinity of Manila with U.S. Navy littoral combat ship U.S. Mobile, Royal Australian Navy amphibious assault ship HMAS Canberra, and frigate HMAS Anzac. Philippine Navy landing platform Dock VRP Davao del Sur and Royal Australian Air Force F-35 Lightning I fighter aircraft. The ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific shares fundamental principles with the free and open Indo-Pacific, and Japan agrees with it. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force will strengthen the Japan-US alliance to deter and counter threats, further improvement of interoperability with the Royal Australian Navy, and improve bilateral defense cooperation with the Philippine Navy for regional peace and stability, and the maintenance of maritime order, said RATM. Izumo and Samadare are making a port call to Manila from Friday until August 31, according to a second JMSDF release. The Australian ships and aircraft are in the Philippines as part of the Philippines-Australian Joint Amphibious Drill Exercise Alon, which is also supported by MV-22 Ospreys for U.S. Marine Force Rotational, Darwin. The exercise is also part of the Australian Defence Force's Indo-Pacific Endeavour 2023 deployment, an annual engagement activity in the region. This year's IPE takes place from June to October, and unlike in past years, is now broken into individual country deployment and engagement activities. In previous years, the ADF would deploy a joint task force built around one of the 2 Canberra-class amphibious ships. The task force would sail continuously from country to conduct engagement activities. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Richard Marles, and Philippine Defence Secretary Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr. observed the drills in Zambales, Philippines on Friday along with Marles and Teodoro. We recommitted to planning bilateral joint patrols in the South China Sea/West Philippine Sea and other areas of mutual interest, Marles said in a statement issued Friday. We committed to expanding some of our bilateral activities in the future to include other countries committed to sustaining peace and security in our region. The Philippines referred to the nearest region of the South China Sea, including Philippine territorial waters and its exclusive economic zone, as the West Philippine Sea. In a joint press conference with Teodoro, Marl stated that the joint patrols would be carried out soon and that both the ADF and armed forces of the Philippines were involved. And we're really pleased with the progress of those discussions, and we expect that the first of those joint patrols will happen in the not-too-distant future, said Marles in the session. Teodoro was asked about the presence of a U.S. Navy P-8, a Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft, during Tuesday's successful resupply mission by the Philippines to the grounded landing ship tank VRP Sierra Madre at 2nd Thomas Shoal in the disputed Spratly Islands. China Coast Guard and China maritime militia ships attempted to prevent the resupply. The role of the United States in those resupplies: they were providing freedom of navigation. They were conducting freedom of navigation operations on their own, uncoordinated with us, and which they do on a regular basis anyway, Teodoro said, though he acknowledged that the U.S. flight could have been coordinated between the two countries at a level below him. Embarked media on the Philippine Coast Guard ships escorting the resupply boats photographed a U.S. Navy P-8 with identification number 756 flying overhead during the mission, along with a UAV believed to be Chinese. The China Coast Guard on Wednesday released a video of the encounter that was taken from the air. The Joint Staff Office of Japan's Ministry of Defense issued a release Friday stating that 2 Chinese H-6 bombers flew in from the East China Sea that morning, transited the Miyako Strait between Okinawa and Miyako Island, then flew southeast before turning back. They subsequently turned to pass the Miyako Strait again, entering the East China Sea. Fighters from the Japan Air Self-Defense Force Southwest Air District were scrambled in response. However, while collaboration is key, challenges persist. Differing interests, historical rivalries, and China's steadfast stance pose hurdles in this journey toward stability. In conclusion, as tensions ebb and flow in the South China Sea, the collective efforts of the Philippines, the U.S., Australia, and Japan illuminate a path towards cooperation. By working together, these nations strive to ensure a peaceful and prosperous maritime future for all. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of international collaboration amidst South China Sea tensions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.